Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer. Now, we are stepping a bit away from the familiar today and descending into a genuinely terrifying, but honestly awe-inspiring reality. We're going to explore what would actually happen if the biological clock of human aging just stopped. Think about this for a second. Right now, as we just go about our day, about 150,000 people will die. That is roughly 2 people every single second. It's the one absolute, unavoidable certainty of the human condition. But what if that inevitable cycle simply vanished? What if you woke up tomorrow and that ticking clock was just gone? It's the ultimate human dream, right? Defeating the grave once and for all. But I want to challenge you to look at this a little more critically with me. Would achieving this dream actually lead to a utopian salvation where we finally have the time to solve all of our worldly problems? Or would it trigger a complete societal and psychological collapse? And we have to consider the dark economic reality of this, too. If a cure for aging is invented, who actually gets it? You know the first treatments would be astronomically expensive. We have to ask whether immortality would just become the ultimate luxury good, literally dividing humanity into the mortal poor and the immortal elite. Plus, it's not just about the body, is it? We have to ask, is the human brain even built to withstand the crushing weight of hundreds, maybe thousands of years of memories? You see, our brains have a limited storage capacity. Some scientists estimate it's somewhere around 2.5 petabytes. Could your mind even process infinite time without completely fracturing? Which ultimately brings us to the deepest philosophical mystery of all. Is the very thing we fear the most, our mortality, exactly what makes our existence valuable in the first place? Section 1. The Illusion of Ending. So, to really understand our obsession with living forever, we have to look at terror management theory. The idea here is that to manage our paralyzing existential dread, humans have historically pursued what psychologists call immortality projects. Whether that's literally trying to cheat death or symbolically surviving through our art, our empires, and our legacies, human culture is essentially one giant coping mechanism for mortality. Section 2. Defeating the inevitable. Now, science is actually attacking this from a few different angles right now. Biological immortality seeks to literally reverse aging directly in our cells. Then you have digital immortality, which explores the mind-bending concept of transferring human consciousness straight into a machine. And of course, cryonics, which basically acts as a pause button, freezing bodies via vitrification in the hopes that future medicine can thaw and revive them. Let's zoom in on the biological side for a second, because the breakthroughs here are honestly staggering. Scientists have discovered these things called Yamanaka factors, which basically acts like a reset button for cellular age. A 2022 study actually used these to extend the lifespans of mice by 30%. The cells got biologically younger but entirely kept their original identity. The massive challenge now, though, figuring out how to safely deliver this to all 37 trillion cells in the human body without causing them to mutate uncontrollably. Section 3. The psychological weight of forever. But let's strip away the scientific triumph for a minute. Consider Kagan's dilemma, proposed by philosopher Shelley Kagan. He argues that if you live forever, one of two things is going to happen. Either you retain your current desires and eventually face unbearable, agonizingly endless boredom, or your mind mutates so much just to cope with new experiences that your original identity effectively dies anyway. And then there's our motivation. We suffer from something called the planning fallacy. Think about it. If you have literally forever, the urgency to accomplish anything completely disappears. I mean, why write that book? Why take that trip? Why fall in love today when you literally have centuries to do it? Infinite time fundamentally breaks human motivation because our drive to achieve is secretly fueled by the scarcity of our days. Section 4. Society under infinite time. Let's talk numbers for a second, specifically the terrifying reality of $5.7 quadrillion. If a wealthy person took a modest investment today and just let it compound at a standard interest rate for 400 years, it would yield more money than currently exists on Earth right now. Time is the ultimate multiplier of wealth. Immortality would completely shatter our economy, concentrating infinite power into the hands of the elite. And it totally breaks our institutions. I found this thought experiment from a Reddit user that perfectly captures how the justice system would just crumble. If we don't die, what does a life sentence even mean? You'd have people serving 300-year sentences eventually walking free, while a mortal prisoner effectively serves a fraction of that time and dies behind bars. Our entire concept of punishment is built on a finite lifespan. Then there's the sheer physical space. If no one dies, global populations would swell. Speculative fiction warns of a world bloated with over 15 billion people. As the source material points out, if an immortal elite face severe planetary resource depletion, it could very well trigger brutal authoritarian control over reproduction and survival, a dark concept referred to as ecofascism.
Section 5. Philosophies of the Eternal.
Now, if we look at Eastern and Western religions, we actually see a really fascinating alignment. In the Buddhist view, biological immortality is actually a nightmare. Death is seen as a necessary transition within the samsara, the cycle of rebirth, required to eventually reach ultimate liberation, or nirvana. In the Christian view, true eternal life is a spiritual salvation granted by God beyond this world, not a never-ending biological extension of our earthly flaws. So neither tradition views the biological conquest of earthly death as a spiritually desirable goal. But philosophy doesn't entirely rule out a happy eternity. Philosophers Fisher and Mitchell-Yellen present a really powerful counterargument to the boredom dilemma using a library analogy. They argue that an immortal life doesn't have to be boring if you view it like an infinite library. Even if you read for centuries, as long as new books are constantly being written, meaning new experiences and new human connections are constantly forming, life could, theoretically, remain fresh. Section 6. A gift or a curse. There's this quote brilliantly drawn from popular fiction that hits incredibly hard. Immortality isn't living forever. Immortality is everybody else dying. If you are the one who is immortal, your existence becomes a cycle of eternal grief. You are doomed to outlive your loved ones, your pets, your eras, watching the world wither and die around you over and over again while you remain frozen in time. And that builds to the core thesis of this whole explainer. Defeating death might actually strip away the very core of what makes us human. Without the scarcity of time, heroism dies. True sacrifice means nothing if your life isn't finite. A beautiful sunset, a fleeting romance, a massive achievement. Every single precious moment risks becoming an endless, valueless commodity when you have literally an eternity to repeat it. So I want to leave you with this to really consider. The science is accelerating. The human desire to cheat death is as ancient as time itself. But if the cure for aging is finally placed into our hands, would taking it truly be a gift to humanity, or the greatest, most isolating curse in our history? Take that thought with you.